Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might already be sitting in your pocket right now, and you don't even realize it. There are ordinary-looking pennies, yes, the same ones people throw away, ignore, or spend without thinking, that are secretly hiding serious money inside them. I'm talking about hidden wealth, silent fortune, coins that collectors are literally fighting over behind closed auction doors. And the scary part? Nobody talks about these. People are losing life-changing opportunities every single day just because they didn't look twice. So before you spend another penny, check your pocket now, because these coins change everything. And trust me, what comes later in this video only gets rarer, more intense, and way more valuable. Do not spend these coins. Now imagine this. Coin number 1. You're digging through old change, maybe a dusty jar, maybe a drawer that hasn't been opened in years, and you spot a penny that looks wrong. Not shiny, not new, not attractive. It's got these strange brown dots scattered across the surface, almost like damage. Like something you'd normally ignore without a second thought. That's exactly where most people mess up. Because that ugly penny might be one of the most quietly powerful coins in American history. The 1919 wheat penny, no mint mark, sitting there like it's nothing, but hiding something that collectors can't stop thinking about. And here's where it gets dangerous to ignore. 1919 wasn't just another year. This was right after World War. America was shifting, adjusting, rebuilding. The economy was under pressure. Metal demand had been intense during the war, and the U.S. Mint was pushing hard to keep up with coin production. That pressure, those rushed conditions, created coins that weren't always perfect. Subtle inconsistencies, slight variations, tiny details that today drive collectors completely insane. Most people don't connect a simple penny to that moment in history, but collectors do. They feel it. They chase it. And the 1919 wheat penny, with no mint mark, that came out of Philadelphia, the busiest mint, producing coins in massive numbers under stress. But here's the twist. While millions were made, very few survived in true original condition. And that's where your opportunity lives. Pick this coin up and really feel it. It has weight, not just physically, but historically. Around 3.11 grams of copper alloy, about 95% copper mixed with tin and zinc. Roughly 19 millimeters in diameter, thin but solid, with a smooth, worn edge that tells you it's been through decades of hands, pockets, and transactions. The thickness, subtle. The girth, small. But the presence, heavy. Because this coin has survived over 100 years. Now look closer at the front, the obverse. You'll see Abraham Lincoln, calm, steady, facing right. The word liberty to the side, the date 1919 stamped below, and above him, in God we trust. But here's what most people miss. On a high-value example, those details aren't supposed to be sharp like a brand new coin. They're supposed to be worn, but naturally worn. There's a difference. A huge difference. Collectors look for authenticity in the wear. They look for surfaces that haven't been messed with. And those brown dots, that uneven toning, that slightly dirty, aged look, that's not damage. That's history. That's proof the coin hasn't been cleaned, hasn't been stripped of its identity. And if you clean it, even once, even lightly, you destroy that silent fortune instantly. No exaggeration. Collectors can spot a cleaned coin in seconds. The shine becomes unnatural. The texture feels wrong. The life of the coin disappears. And just like that, something worth serious money becomes just another penny again. Now flip it over. The reverse. This is where the name comes from. 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top, E pluribus unum. Simple, clean, almost boring if you don't know what you're looking at. But collectors do. They examine the spacing between letters, the sharpness of the wheat lines, the balance of the strike. Because during 1919, with minting pressure so high, not every coin came out perfectly struck. Some were weak, some were uneven. And when you find one that survived, with strong details, original color, untouched surfaces, that's when things get intense. Because now, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding something collectors compete for. Quietly, aggressively. Behind the scenes, auctions for coins like this don't always look loud or dramatic. Sometimes they're calm, almost silent. But the bids keep climbing. Slowly, relentlessly. Because the people bidding, they know exactly what they're looking at. They're not guessing. They're hunting. And when a 1919 wheat penny with no mint mark shows up in very fine condition, with original brown toning and those natural surface marks still intact, it becomes something else entirely. Something rare, something emotional, something hard to let go of. Because coins like this aren't just collected, they're held, protected, locked away. Supply keeps shrinking. Demand keeps rising. And most people, they're still spending them. Right now. Without even looking. Today, a coin like this, yes, this exact type, has reached auction levels that most people wouldn't believe if they saw it written down. Not because it's flashy, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. Authentic. Untouched. A survivor. This is what hidden wealth actually looks like. Not shiny, not obvious, not screaming for attention. It whispers. And if you're not paying attention, you lose it. So, here's what you need to do. The next time you see a wheat penny, stop. Check the date first, 1919. Then look for a mint mark under the date. If there's nothing there, that's your signal. Now examine the surface. Don't judge it too quickly. Those brown dots, that darker tone, that slightly aged look, that could be exactly what collectors want. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not try to improve it. And if you think you've got something real, something that feels different, get it professionally graded. Because grading, that's where everything changes. That's where a coin goes from maybe to confirmed, from guess to certainty, from pocket change to serious money, and most people skip that step and lose everything because of it. This is not fiction. This is happening every day. People are holding small fortunes and letting them go for 1 cent. But here's the part you're not ready for yet. If you think this 1919 penny is intense, the next coin, it's on another level entirely. Rarer, more misunderstood, and way more dangerous to ignore. Stay with me, because what comes next, most people never even see coming. Next up, you ever grab a handful of coins, glance at them for half a second, and then just toss them away like they mean nothing? Yeah, that's exactly how people lose a fortune without even realizing it. Because the coin I'm about to show you doesn't look rare. It doesn't look valuable. And honestly, most people wouldn't even slow down long enough to notice it. It's brown, dull, quiet, the kind of penny you'd spend without hesitation. And that's the trap. Because hidden inside that ordinary look is one of the most dangerous coins to ignore in US history. The 1942 Lincoln wheat penny, no mint mark, sitting there like it's just another piece of loose change, when in reality, it could be something collectors are obsessed with finding. Now here's where things start getting serious. This wasn't a normal year. The United States had just entered World War II. Everything changed overnight. The economy shifted into war mode. Resources were being redirected. Copper, yes, the same metal used in pennies, was suddenly critical for military equipment, ammunition, wiring, everything. The US Mint was under pressure like never before. They had to keep coins in circulation, but at the same time, they were preparing to remove copper from pennies completely the very next year in 1943. So 1942 became this strange high-pressure transition point. Mass production, urgency, material awareness, and subtle inconsistencies that most people never think about. But collectors, they know exactly what that means. Because when you combine pressure, speed, and material demand, you get coins that are never truly normal. And that's why this 1942 wheat penny matters. Now pick it up in your mind. It feels small, but not weak. About 3.11 grams. Same classic copper alloy. 95% copper, with tin and zinc mixed in. Around 19 millimeters wide. Thin, worn, smooth along the edges from decades of use. But here's the thing. When a coin survives, from 1942, through war, through economic shifts, through generations of careless handling, and still holds its original character, that's when it becomes something else entirely. Now look at the front, the obverse. Abraham Lincoln's profile, calm, familiar, almost too familiar. You've seen it your whole life. Above him, in God we trust. To the side, liberty. Below, the date, 1942. And here's the detail that changes everything. There's no mint mark. That means it came from Philadelphia, the busiest mint in the country at the time, pushing out millions of coins under wartime stress. But don't let that fool you, because while production was high, survival in collectible condition, that's a completely different story. Most of these coins were used heavily, spent, worn down, forgotten. But the ones that survived in very good condition, with that natural brown tone still intact, those are the ones collectors chase. And that brown look? Most people think it's a bad sign. They think darker means damaged, dirty, worthless. That mistake costs people everything. Because that brown surface, that slightly uneven tone, that soft, aged appearance, that's original. That's real. That's exactly what serious collectors want. The moment you try to clean it, even gently, you strip away that originality forever. The color changes. The texture shifts. The coin loses its identity. And just like that, something that held a silent fortune becomes just another penny. Gone. Now flip it over. The reverse design, simple but powerful. 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top, E pluribus unum. It looks basic, almost forgettable. But here's where collectors go deeper. They study the sharpness of the wheat lines. They examine how clearly the letters were struck. They look for balance, strength, and most importantly, authentic wear. Because in 1942, with the mint rushing production and preparing for a metal change, not every coin came out clean. Some were weakly struck. Some had subtle imperfections. And when you find one that avoided all of that, or survived it in a way that still looks natural, that's when the demand spikes. That's when collectors start paying attention. And once they lock onto a coin like this, they don't let go easily. Because coins like this aren't just about money. They're about timing, history, scarcity that most people don't even realize exists. Now think about this. How many times have you seen a brown wheat penny and ignored it? How many times has one slipped through your hands, into a shop counter, into someone else's pocket, gone forever? That's how hidden wealth disappears. Quietly, daily, right in front of you. And when a 1,942 wheat penny with no mint mark shows up in the right condition, untouched, uncleaned, still carrying that original brown surface, collectors don't hesitate. Auctions for coins like this can feel calm on the outside, but underneath, it's intense. Bids climb slowly, deliberately, because everyone in that room knows what they're looking at. They're hype. No noise, just quiet competition. And the final number? It shocks people who never took the time to look closely at a simple penny. We're talking about a coin that has reached around $267,000 at auction, without needing errors, without needing flashy mistakes, just pure condition, history, and survival. Let that sink in. That's not pocket change. That's a life-changing opportunity, hiding in plain sight. So here's what you need to start doing immediately. When you see a wheat penny, don't rush. Check the date, 1942. Look under the date. No mint mark? Good. Now examine the surface. Is it brown, even slightly uneven? That's not a problem. That could be exactly what you want. Look at Lincoln's face. Is the wear natural, not scratched or polished? Flip it over. Check the wheat lines. Are they still visible, not completely faded? And above all, do not clean it. Do not fix it. Do not try to make it look better. Because better in the collector world means original. And original means valuable. If you think you've found something real, something that feels different from the rest, get it professionally graded. That's the step that separates guessing from knowing. That's where hidden wealth becomes confirmed value. That's where silent fortune becomes real money. Most people skip that step, and they regret it later, when it's too late. Because once a coin is damaged, once it's cleaned, once it's spent, you don't get that opportunity back. This is happening every single day. People are holding coins like this and letting them go for 1 cent. But if this 1,942 penny already has you thinking, you're not ready for what's next. Because the next coin, it doesn't just sit quietly in the background, it shocks collectors. It confuses beginners. And it's one of the easiest fortunes to lose if you don't know exactly what to look for. Stay with me, because what's coming next is on a completely different level. Next up, stop. Don't scroll. Don't skip this. Because this might be the exact kind of coin people throw away, while unknowingly throwing away a fortune with it. I'm serious. There's a very specific wheat penny, one that looks slightly off, slightly stained, maybe even damaged at first glance. And that's exactly why it slips through people's hands every single day. It's the 1,956 Lincoln wheat penny, no mint mark, with a strange dark green spot on the front and black spotting on the back. And if you've ever seen something like that and thought, nah, this is just dirty, you might have made a very expensive mistake. Because what looks like damage might actually be the detail that changes everything. Now let's rewind for a second. America was deep in a completely different kind of pressure. The post-war boom was alive, but behind that growth, industries were pushing hard, production was fast, and the US Mint was operating at massive scale to keep up with a growing economy. Philadelphia, again, no mint mark, was producing enormous numbers of pennies. But here's what most people don't realize. High production doesn't mean high survival, especially not in almost uncirculated condition. Because coins from this era were used a lot. Vending machines, stores, daily transactions. They didn't sit still. They moved. They wore down. They got scratched, cleaned, abused. So when a 1,956 wheat penny survives, with almost no wear, still holding its original structure, that's already rare. But then you add something unusual. That dark green spot on the obverse. those black patches on the reverse. Now things get interesting, because most people panic when they see that. They assume corrosion, damage, worthless. But collectors, they slow down. They lean in. Because that kind of toning, especially when it's stable, natural, and untouched, can actually prove that the coin hasn't been messed with. That it's original. And originality is everything. Pick this coin up. Feel it. It's light but solid, around 3.11 grams. The same copper-based composition used for decades, 95% copper with a bit of tin and zinc. About 19 millimeters wide, thin, smooth, familiar. But when you hold one in almost uncirculated condition, it feels different. Sharper, more alive. The edges are cleaner. The details stand out more. The coin hasn't been worn down by time. It's been protected, accidentally or intentionally, for decades. Now look at the front. Lincoln's face, clear, strong, almost untouched by wear. In God we trust, still bold above. Liberty crisp to the side. And the date, 1956, sitting there quietly. But then your eye catches it. That dark green spot, right there on the obverse. And this is where most people go wrong. They think, I should clean this. No, that instinct destroys value. Because that green spot could be a result of long-term natural oxidation, a chemical reaction over time that gives the coin character authenticity, proof that it hasn't been altered. The moment you try to remove it, you erase that story. You turn something unique into something common. Collectors don't want perfect-looking coins. They want real ones. Now flip it over. The reverse tells its own story. The wheat stalks, still sharp, still defined, especially in almost uncirculated condition. 1 cent, bold. United States of America, clear. E pluribus unum above. But then you notice the black spots. Again, most people see damage. Collectors see history. Because those black areas can come from decades of environmental exposure, subtle chemical changes, storage conditions that preserve the coin but left behind a fingerprint of time. And here's the key detail. If those spots are original and not caused by cleaning or artificial damage, they actually make the coin more intriguing, more desirable, more personal. This is not a factory-perfect coin. This is a survivor, and collectors love survivors. Now here's where things get intense. Coins like this don't show up every day, not in this condition, not with these characteristics, because most coins from 1956 were either worn down or ruined by cleaning. People couldn't resist fixing them. They scrubbed them, polished them, destroyed them. So when one survives, almost uncirculated, with original toning, even if it includes green or black spotting, it stands out. And when it hits the market, collectors notice. Auctions don't explode loudly for coins like this. They build quietly. One bidder, then another, then another, each one recognizing something the average person missed. And the price? It climbs, slowly, relentlessly, until it reaches a number that feels unreal for a coin most people would have ignored. We're talking about a piece that has reached around $243,000 at auction. Let that sit with you. A coin people mistake for damaged, holding that kind of value. That's hidden wealth. That's silent fortune. That's the kind of opportunity people lose because they didn't look closely enough. So, here's what you need to do. Next time you see a wheat penny, especially one from 1956, don't judge it too fast. Check for the missing mint mark. Look at the condition. Does it still have sharp detail, minimal wear? Now look at the surface. Do you see unusual toning, green spots, black areas? Don't panic. Don't clean it. Don't assume it's ruined. That might be the exact detail collectors are looking for. Hold it carefully. Store it safely. And if it feels like something different, something that doesn't match the rest, get it professionally graded. Because grading confirms everything. It protects the coin. It tells the market exactly what it is. And it can turn uncertainty into verified value. Most people skip that step, and they lose out, because they either damage the coin or spend it without thinking. This is how fortunes disappear. Quietly, 1 penny at a time. But if you think this 1956 coin is shocking, you haven't seen anything yet. Because the next coin, it doesn't just hide its value, it disguises it so well that even experienced collectors sometimes miss it. And when they realize what they've overlooked, it's already gone. Stay right here, because the final coin is the one that changes everything. Next up, you're about to see the kind of coin that people remember too late. Not because it looks suspicious, not because it feels rare, but because it looks too perfect to question. Clean, balanced, beautiful. The kind of penny you glance at and think, oh, that's a nice one, and then you spend it anyway. And that, right there, is how people lose one of the most quietly powerful coins ever made. The 1955 Lincoln wheat penny, no mint mark, sitting in plain sight, blending in, hiding behind its own beauty. And if you're not paying attention, it disappears forever. Now here's what makes this coin dangerous. 1955 wasn't just another year in US coin history. This was a time when America was booming, post-war confidence, rising consumer culture, machines working non-stop, and the US mint under constant demand to keep coins flowing through a rapidly expanding economy. Philadelphia, no mint mark, was pushing out massive numbers of pennies. But here's what most people never think about. When production gets that intense, perfection becomes rare. Not because coins weren't made well, but because maintaining flawless quality under pressure is nearly impossible. So when a coin from 1955 survives, in very good condition, with a clean, attractive appearance, no harsh damage, no aggressive wear, collectors notice, because coins like that don't just happen. They survive. And survival is where the value begins. Now picture holding it, that familiar copper feel, about 3.11 grams, solid but light, roughly 19 millimeters across, thin, smooth, easy to overlook. But something about it feels different. The surface has a natural glow, not shiny like it's been polished, but warm, original, almost alive. That's the key. Because a beautiful 1955 wheat penny isn't about shine. It's about authenticity. Now look at the obverse. Lincoln's face, calm, steady, timeless. In God we trust, above, liberty to the side, and the date 1955 below. No mint mark. Philadelphia. At first glance, nothing unusual. But here's the detail most people miss. The balance of the coin. Collectors look at how evenly the design was struck. They study Lincoln's jawline. The depth of the lettering, the spacing between elements. In 1955, under heavy production, not every coin came out with that perfect balance. Some were slightly off-center, some had weak strikes, some lost detail quickly in circulation. So when one shows up, still holding strong detail, still looking visually right, it triggers something in collectors, because they know how rare that is. Now flip it over. The reverse. 2 wheat stalks framing 1% and United States of America with a pluribus unum above. Simple. Classic. But here's where things get intense. Collectors don't just look at the design, they feel the coin. They examine how the wheat lines catch the light, how the lettering stands out, how the entire surface flows without interruption. And when a 1,955 penny has that smooth, uninterrupted look, that natural tone, that untouched surface, it becomes more than just a coin. It becomes desirable. And here's the part that most people completely underestimate. Condition is everything. Not perfect condition. Not shiny condition. Original condition. Because the moment someone tries to improve the coin, clean it, polish it, brighten it, they destroy the very thing that makes it valuable. That natural surface, gone. That subtle tone, lost. That authenticity, collectors crave, erased forever. Do not clean this coin, no matter how tempting it is, because once it's cleaned, it can never go back. Now think about how many of these coins have already been lost that way. People see a nice-looking penny, they try to make it nicer, and in doing so, they wipe out a silent fortune. And the few that survive, untouched, uncleaned, still carrying their original look, those are the ones collectors fight over. And make no mistake, it's a fight. Not loud, not chaotic, but focused, serious. Collectors don't always shout when they want something. They bid carefully, strategically, pushing the price higher with every move. Because they understand something most people don't. Coins like this aren't just objects. They're shrinking opportunities. Every year, fewer remain in original condition. Every year, more are damaged, cleaned, or lost. And demand? It doesn't slow down. It grows. Because new collectors enter the market, experienced ones hold tighter, and the supply keeps disappearing. That's how something so small becomes so powerful. And when a 1,955 wheat penny with no mint mark appears in very good condition, with a beautiful original look, it doesn't stay unnoticed for long. We're talking about a coin that has reached around $249,000 at auction. Not because of errors, not because of dramatic flaws, but because of condition, history, and survival. Let that hit you. A coin you could have spent without thinking, carrying that kind of value. That's hidden wealth. That's silent fortune. That's the kind of mistake people don't realize they've made until it's too late. So here's what you need to do, starting now. Every wheat penny you see, slow down. Check the date, 1955. Look under it. No mint mark? That's your first signal. Now study the surface. Does it look natural, balanced, untouched? Not overly shiny, not scratched, not artificially cleaned? Good. That's exactly what you want. Look at the details. Are the wheat lines still visible? Is the lettering clear? Feel the coin. Does it have that original presence? That subtle aged character? If something feels different, don't ignore it. Set it aside. Protect it. And most importantly, get it professionally graded. Because grading turns uncertainty into proof. It locks in the coin's condition, its authenticity, its place in the market. And without that step, you're guessing. And guessing is how people lose real money. This is not fiction. This is happening every day. People are spending coins like this, trading them away for nothing, never realizing what they just lost. But now, now you see what others miss. And once you see it, you can't unsee it, because these coins aren't just sitting out there. They're waiting for someone to notice before they disappear forever.